Hey guys, and welcome to episode 14 of Surg Feed the Beast Season 3 Let's Play. I'm sitting here in my base and I got everything starting to get set up. I've gotten more flakes set up here to go ahead and get cooked up. Still not everything, and I want to check to see how my power is doing. I bet you, my angular transducer's upstairs. I bet you I have a lot of power stored up, because I do have a chunk loader here at my base. So even when I'm logged off, this thing is running and generating power. That's one of the nice things about this setup. Oh wow, look at that. That's a lot of power. That's a really lot of power. We should be able to run just about anything off of that. So today, I think I'd like to do just a mix of mods. The first thing that I want to do is, I don't like having to keep coming here to get my tools. So the first thing that I'd like to do is something from Tinker's Construct, and that's this right here. It's a little knapsack. So let's see what we need for the knapsack. Wow, there's a lot of pages. Watch it be on the last one. Yep, there it is. So we're going to need some tough rods, iron, and gold and leather. That should be easy enough. Tough rods, I believe, are 3. So we should be able to just run outside, since I already have everything I need for those, and get that started. And I need the tough rod. Sword blade, tough rod. And I'm going to go ahead and harvest these up. And I think that you're supposed to get a chance to get another Ender Lily seed. It's a really low chance, but I think it is possible. But why not harvest them, so that way I can get even more Ender Pearls. So I'm going to let that cook up there. And let's just make sure that we have enough leather. Okay, we have plenty of leather. And we'll go ahead and grab 1 piece of gold. Oh, no, I need 6 leather. Melt. Okay, so everything's melted up now, and we should be able to make our tough rods. And that's just going to get sucked down into the chest. And I can do a second one. And that should be all we need to throw it all together right here. And gold, and 2 iron tough rods makes our knapsack. And so what I can do is I can go here to this tab and add my knapsack. And what that'll do is, if I close it and open it back up, it'll add another tab that's basically just another inventory. So now I can throw all the tools that I'm not going to need right in there. And I can take them with me and not have to worry about it. So I'll always have them when I need them. And you can see I have quite a few tools. There we go. So that was the first thing. I just want to be able to carry my tools with me, and if worse comes to worse, now I have a little bit more inventory space if I'm running around mining and stuff gets full. So that was the first thing. The next thing that I actually want to do is advanced genetics. Now, advanced genetics is a really cool mod, and this is going to take a little while to get into. But What it does is it allows you to take on some traits from different mobs, different animals, maybe zombies, creepers, things like that. Some of them I think are a little game breaking, so I won't be using all of them, but there are a few that I do like. So the first thing we're going to need is a way to power any machines that we get. So we're going to need a combustion generator. So pretty easy. A couple of furnaces, a spider eye, and some iron. So let's see. Do I have the furnaces? I don't. That's okay. That's easy enough. 1, 2. And combustion generator. So now we have that, a way to generate power. We're also going to need, not a magnifier, a scraper. So we're going to need a couple of stone rods. And I'm just going to go ahead and make 2 scrapers. Now what these scrapers do is if we go find a mob, and I actually, to start, don't want it to be night. I want to find just some animals. So let's see if I can find... First one I want to find is a chicken. Let's see if we can find a chicken. There we go. We found the elusive chicken. And so what I want to do is take my scraper and just right click on the chicken. And I'll get some skin scales. Oh, there's another chicken. And I want to get as many as I can without killing him. So stop running. Okay, so he's about to die. Let's see if we can get some from this other chicken. See if we can get him without letting him out. Oh, there's 2 in there. That should be plenty. And that's one of the reasons I wanted the knapsack too. Is just because I'm going to need a lot of these skin scales. So let's go ahead and make our way back home, and I'll show you what we can do with these. So now we're back at our base, and we have all of these skin scales, and I actually have one from a spider. And we need to see what we can do with them. So the first thing we're going to need is an analyzer, which is just a magnifying glass, which is right here. Easy enough. So let's go ahead and make just a couple more of these rods, and make a magnifying glass. So we just need one. And analyzer. So now what I can do is, I'm just going to set them up right over here for right now. I can take my combustion generator, and I'm going to plop it down right here. And then I can take my DNA analyzer, put it right here, right next to it, because it needs to get power. So we need to put something that we can cook up in there. And coal is a very good source. So I'm going to throw this in here, and it should just start generating power for me. And this will quickly fill up. And what we can do is we can throw our skin scales in here. And it takes a little bit of time. But what it'll do is it will go ahead and analyze these, and it'll give us 2 byproducts. So I'm going to give this a second and let it finish. So I did some testing in a single player world, and the combustion generator just uses up way too much coal. If I throw a lava bucket in it, it works for a little bit longer than, than say 3 or 4 pieces of coal, but it uses up my bucket too. It doesn't give me that back. So, with my testing, I had found out that I can actually use MJ, or in this case, redstone flux. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I already have this set up here, creating all of this power. I might as well use it, right? So what I'd like to do is just move this. I'm down in my basement here, because I think that's where I'm going to keep it. It's not a machine that I'm going to have to use all the time. So let's see. Let's put it somewhere like I don't know, right here. And I want to put it right here and go under the floor and put some cable. Now, there was, in some cases, there was a little bit of bugginess with the cabling, but we're deal with that when we have to. Let's see. So I should be able to come right down here and go straight across. Now, the nice thing is this builds infrastructure under our floor for if we ever have to put something else down here, or put power for anything else. Here we go. And of course I can't jump out. Come on. I should be able to just plop this right under me. I'll just break that. So if I place this down, I can go ahead and put my analyzer right back here. Now, the power does kind of look funky when it's hooked up to RF. I'm not sure why. Hopefully it's something that gets fixed in the future. But now we should be able to throw our skin scales in here, and you can see there it started to work and then it stopped. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the power. Now, what I was doing on my single player world is I actually took and made some leadstone conduit. Just a little bit. Because the hardened transfers a lot more energy. But it seemed that maybe it did run. That was weird. Okay, let's just leave it that way. Let's try that again. Throw a skin scale in here. Looks like it's trying to go. We'll see if we get any output. Okay, so it looks like it did work even though the bar didn't go across visually. That's okay. So now we have some cells, and cells of a chicken. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I did make these leadstone energy conduit, let's just go ahead and upgrade those anyway to hardened. 3, and then I should be able to take this one and some Invar nuggets, and then I should be able to just convert the 1. There we go. Okay, so we have a way to make cells. Well, what do you do with those? If we go to the mod list here and go to advanced genetics, the cells basically are used to make this book here, the basic DNA dictionary. And you need that to make every machine other than the analyzer. Obviously that kind of makes sense because you need the analyzer to make the cells. There's other uses for the cells, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I did go and run a lot of my skin scales through there, through my analyzer, and because of that I made some of my machines. So first you need the analyzer, then you need the extractor. And that's why I was saying you need that basic DNA dictionary and some iron and a hopper. It's pretty easy. What I'm going to do is, because I do have some more skin scales, I'm actually going to plop a hopper down here and put a chest above it. So now I can just throw my skin scales in here whenever I get them, and it'll automatically throw them in the DNA analyzer. But this is really slow, and we have a way to fix that. What we can do is, let me see if there's a way. Let's see if that changes it so that it doesn't clear whatever I'm looking at. There is a way to speed that up with overclockers. Pretty easy. We just need a clock and some redstone. So we can make, let's say, 4 clocks. And what was that speed upgrade? The overclocker. So now we have 16 overclockers. And there's another kind of upgrade, the auto output. So I'd like to make one of those too. And I don't have any pistons. I thought I had made some before, but that's okay, easy enough. So I'm just going to start with 4 and make those. Now, like I said, I did make some of the machines. So if we look here, I do have a DNA extractor. So let me go ahead and place this down, and I'll show you what that does. Put down another conduit here. And now I have the extractor. Now if I take this auto output upgrade and throw it in there, it will try to find an adjacent inventory that will accept the cells. And that just happens to be a DNA extractor. So it will auto output them into the extractor, and then we're going to get a helix that's encrypted, which leads us into the next machine that we need. But remember, we had made these overclockers. All you have to do is right click and install them. And I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 into this one, and it'll show you right here. 4 overclockers, and it has the auto output. And I'm going to go ahead and put, say, 4 in here, and auto output. Now we don't have a place for this to output just yet. So the next machine in the line, and let me just see if I can pull up advanced genetics again, is the decryptor. Remember, we had gotten a helix, but it's encrypted, so we need to see what's on it. So we need to get ourselves a decryptor. And the decryptor right here, which I already have one made, and we don't need our generator anymore, is made with another DNA dictionary, a piece of paper, and some iron. So what we can do now is throw that down. Again, give it a little bit of power. And because we put the auto output right here, it's going to automatically shove them into our DNA decryptor. And just because I know this is a little bit slow too, let's go ahead and throw 4 overclockers in. And there we go. We get a helix, and it's been decrypted. It's just a basic gene. So let's see what this one is. No fall. No fall and basic gene. You can have some helixes with multiple traits on them. And we'll get to that in a minute. And we'll throw this last one in here. And that's another basic gene. Let me just make sure that there's no more for us. We do have these cells, so what we can do is throw these cells in the extractor as well. And they will just go ahead and form these helixes and go into the decryptor. So there's another no fall. And here's another no fall. Now these both have 2 traits on them, where this one only has the 1. So sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 1. It's just kind of a random chance on what's on what. Okay, so we have our unencrypted helixes, but we can't really do anything with them. So we're going to need another machine from Advanced Genetics. And so we have our decryptor, and it basically goes in order. We have our analyzer, we have our extractor, we have our decryptor. Now we're going to need our splitter because, like some of these, they have multiple genes on them. And so we want to pick which one we want. And I believe this is the last machine that I have pre-made. But if you look here, and I'm not sure what the difference is between the splitter and the auto splitter. I haven't played with the auto splitter yet. Maybe that's something that we'll have to do later. For right now, I'll go ahead and show you the DNA splitter. It again takes a basic DNA dictionary, and this time it takes a diamond. And just like the other ones, iron ingots around. And so we can take this one and go ahead and put down one more energy conduit, throw that down, so now we have power. And if we put our helix in here, it'll tell us what gene do we want to choose. And in this case, there's only one. So we tell it our basic gene, and it should go through here and process. Let me see if this finishes or if it's just going to give us problems because of the power fluctuation. It looks like it's not going to... Okay, it looks like it did go through. So now we have a gene and more organic drops. Now these organic drops you're going to get in different stages as you go through this. Basically what they are, figure them as fuel. That's really all they're good for. That's all they're used for. They probably give you about the same as, say, a stick. Maybe not even that. So we can take these genes, and if we have one that has 2, we can pick what we want. And this is basically where we're getting to what we can add to ourselves, what gene we can add. Now the basic gene doesn't do anything, except it's used in another machine. But in this case, we want no fall. Basically, so we don't take fall damage. I'm going to go ahead and throw the 4 remaining overclockers in here. And now we have a gene with no fall. And some more organic drops. And I'll put my auto output into here, so that way anything else we run through here is going to go all the way down the line and stop at the DNA splitter. And so let's go ahead and get all of these genes. Now we're going to need a lot more than these. We're also going to need some more of the cells. So unfortunately, this is going to be where we're going to have to stop for right now until I go find another chicken. So I'm going to let this finish up here, and then we can throw this into our AE system, and let's go get some more skin cells. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of skin scales. I went through a whole bunch in here, and you can see that we're just processing away, but it's waiting on the splitter. So what we want to go ahead and do is let that finish up, and actually what I want to do is take a couple of cells out. And that's because I'm going to need 4 for the next machine. So the nice thing is I have this kind of production line here. It's just going to go through, and I can tell it I want no fall, grab my gene out, and it'll just start doing the next one. Let's see if it'll do it now. And the next machine that we're going to need, let me go ahead and pull it up here because this one I do not have, is we have our decryptor, we have our splitter, we're going to need a breeder. So we need another basic DNA dictionary, which I don't have a book. And if we take the book, like I said before, throw just some cells around it, we get our basic DNA dictionary. And I should be able to take that and... oh, don't tell me I don't have any wheat. I do have some seeds. And I should have some bones. Well, there's an easy way to get wheat. Breeder. Go. Just like all of the other machines, this does require power. So again, we need our conduit. And I'll go ahead and throw this just right down in the line. Now, what we can do here is we have two different slots. Now, this doesn't work like the other machines, where you put something in this slot and it just processes and goes into this one. What you have to do is you have to put a gene that you want in this slot. And if we put the no fall, because that's what we're going for, into here, you can see breeding state 0 of 16. What that means is we basically have to take other genes and breed them with that one. So let's go ahead and pull out all of these that we have here. And there we go. And we'll go ahead and breed these. Now, if you see here, I have a basic gene, and that's what I was saying that these are used for, is they're used in the breeder to get the result that you want. So if I put a basic gene in here, it'll go ahead and go through and it'll fuse into this one and basically breed it. So now we can see we're 1 of 16. Now, if I put any gene in here, let's see, a basic gene or any other type, it may not be a basic, it might be something else. When it goes and joins into this one, it will give me 1. But if I put another one that's the same, say no fall, if I put another no fall here, it will actually give me 2. And I'll show you here in a second. And there we go. So now we have 4 out of 16, so let's see if we can get this all the way up. So now, if we throw our last one in here, and when it gets added to the gene here, now you can see it's completed. So we can take our completed gene, and it even says it in the tooltip there. We can take that, and basically that's what we need to work with to use it on ourselves. So we're going to need a couple more things, and then we'll be able to inject it into ourselves. So the first thing we're going to need is a syringe. And I have everything but the glass bottle. Easy enough. It's not a hard recipe, and you only need 1. So now we have our syringe. We're also going to need one last machine, and that's the centrifuge. Okay, I lied. Looks like we need 4 more syringes. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to need another glass bottle. That'll make 4, and then 1 for ourselves. We're again going to need some of the cells. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out 4. Shouldn't take too long because remember we do have the overclockers in our machines here. There we go. One more DNA dictionary. I wish it would save the information that I typed in here so that way I didn't have to type it every time. And we'll go ahead and just add these. And I should be able to make my centrifuge. Again, like all of the other machines, this one does require power. So we should be able to plop it right down here. Now, what we need to do is take our syringe and hold right click, and you will get blindness. Don't worry about it, it goes away. And it will fill the syringe with our blood. So what we need to do is go ahead and throw this in the syringe, and it will, throw it in the centrifuge, and it will go ahead and just show that it's centrifuged. So now we have our centrifuged syringe filled with our blood, and I'm going to need 4 more of these cells. You can see why I went out and got more scrapings. And one last machine is the DNA combiner. Now, there is another machine, the DNA remover, and we might get into that in a future episode, but it's not something I need right now. So we will need 1 more syringe, 2 more cells. Let me just go ahead and grab those cells. And go ahead and make 1 more syringe. And we should be able to make another DNA dictionary. Oh, looks like I had one. And we can make our DNA combiner. Go ahead and plop that down here. You can see it's quite a few machines that you need for this. So now we should be able to take our syringe and throw in our completed gene. And if we give that a second, it should tell us that we have a syringe filled and have no fall on it. Now, last thing we need to do, throw that back into the centrifuge. And stick it back in us. We will get a little bit of nausea. That's kind of sickening. But now, I should be able to go outside here. Actually, let me sleep through the night. And let's see if we can find somewhere really high. So now I'm on top of this big jungle tree that's right over across from my base. And it would kind of be crazy to jump off. But I'm going to do it. Now you can see it still had that animation like I would take damage, but I didn't actually take any. That kind of fall would probably be about 2 or 3 hearts. So now I'm immune to fall damage. I'm not going to show all of the different aspects that you can get from mobs, but I will say that creepers is kind of explosive and suicidal. And I'm sure you can imagine what that means. Okay guys, looks like we are at that wrapping up point, so unfortunately I am going to have to end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will see you later.